Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call this special meeting to order of the Board of Trustees of Hinckley Township. And we are meeting to discuss and review the contract for the police station addition with Labella Architects. It is 6:02 p.m. We have one person in the audience. Would you like to take the floor?
Does Martha want to call the roll?
Yes, Martha, please call the roll. Thank you.
Kalina?
Here.
Augustine?
Here.
Burns?
Here.
Okay, I'm actually going to give it over to Chief Settner.
Thank you. We are here this evening to go over the proposed contract with Labella for the police department addition. So I will introduce Matthew Mayick from Labella, and the floor is yours, sir.
Great, thank you very much. So I am Matt Medic with Labella Associates, Vice President and multi-media project manager. So I will be leading the Labella team on this project, as per interview. So we received the draft AIA B101-2017 from the chief via your legal department. I'm happy to go through all of this. In replying back to the chief and legal, we're taking no exceptions. So there's a lot of edits proposed by your legal team, which protect you very well. It's a pretty strict contract, but we understand the terms and why your legal team's asking for some of this. My understanding is it's very similar to your fire department contract. It may be the exact same contract. So for starters, we're taking no exceptions. So as written, we're agreeable to all terms as written. And I'm happy to walk you through, because I'm sure many of you have not gone through an AIA document in detail. And I can certainly speak to some of the edits and really what it means for you and why maybe your legal team has decided to make those edits. So I'm going to try to go through this quickly. This is a very lengthy document, but I'll kind of just hit the highlights and really what's important. So as we finalize this, we're going to want to include obviously all the project information. So when I go into page 2, as far as the owner's program, it's been edited as TBD, to be determined. That's one of our first steps, is develop program of spaces. Typically, you're not going to always find it written up front in your contract, a full program of all the spaces that are being incorporated into the police station. That's one of our first steps early in design, is developing the program. So we're good leaving it TBD. If this team is good leaving it as TBD. Certainly, one of our first deliverables will be this program. So it's going to be a deliverable for you, for everyone to review and approve, depending on the number of spaces, type of spaces, size of spaces, all of that. That's going to be early in due diligence. So we're happy to put that in. Project's physical characteristics also determined as TBD. Again, it'll be determined very early in the project, due diligence. In our interview, we kind of showed the kind of intent, which is really, it's a 2-story building. We intend to go masonry on the lower level, where the police drop-off is. That would be masonry. And then wood construction, really very similar. It's going to look like the original building. So when it's all said and done, it'll look like, it was originally designed that way. So it'll be consistent with the building, the materials, wood frame construction, asphalt, shingled siding, roofing, windows. Everything's going to look very much like the original police station. So from that perspective, that's what really the characteristics of what the building is going to be. We're not looking to make a statement out back of the police station. It will match the original police station, and that's going to keep costs down as well. We sure need to make a statement fact there.
Right.
As far as owner's budget, it's to be determined. We talked earlier, and I know there was some discussion of, potentially $1 million on the construction costs. We did a high level conceptual of 1.7, and some of that has to do with inflation. As you're aware, in the last year, things have gone a little crazy in the construction market. So your $1 million budget from a year and a half ago in today's market has gone up like 28 to 30%, just based on materials, supply chain. It's a little chaotic out there. If I were to predict where it's going to be, typically, historically, these construction highs, they last about 2 years. It's just historically gone this way. So, we can strategically think when's the right time to bid this. All depend on your schedule. But I predict these costs are here through next year.
Do you think they'll drop again?
I think they'll drop. I don't think they'll drop pre-COVID because everything has been inflated. So that factors in. So, I'm hoping that, instead of a 28% where it is today, it's more of a 10%, post-COVID on materials and construction and labor. But I don't think it'll ever go back. Just everything's inflated. And that's going to have an impact on the cost of construction moving forward for everybody. So to be determined, we're willing to obviously work to your budget. I mean, that's what we're here for. That's why you hired us. So, as we work together on budget, we'll dial it into what is, right for the chief and the township, and, happy to get it dialed into that. So we're not surprised come bid day on what the actual construction cost is. But, it's really up to you and your legal team if you want to enter a value now in the contract of what, the construction costs to be, or you leave it TBD and we work together in each phase and just deliver estimates as we go and then kind of dial it into where you want it to be. So, but we predicted it at 1.7 based on the full expansion out back, 2-story addition. Construction commencement date, that's typically going to be determined on a contract like this, as well as substantial completion as we go through the design. And we have an idea on what this construction will be, but it really depends when we actually bid this and when's the right time to bid this. So obviously we're going to follow a design bid build. So following, Ohio public bidding requirements, this is probably the right size project to still stay with that. A lot of projects have gone CM at risk or design build that are larger. There are different formats for delivering projects, but at this scale of a project, it's probably still best to go a design bid build where we publicly advertise this and get multiple bids from multiple contractors when we're done with the design. As far as owners, representatives, it's marked as TBD. We don't think, and I'm in, 1.161. Again, this is where the legal team is. You don't have an owner's rep. We're kind of going to help you a little bit there, but we haven't identified, or legal team identified, any other owners representative. Essentially, we're working with you and the chief on this job with our team. And we haven't identified anyone else as part of the overall team. Obviously, we'll report to the public and come to council meetings as needed. Moving on, Geotechnical Engineer. This is a little older, but we've determined and you've awarded GPD as a geotechnical engineer to do soil borings. We should have those results in the next week, and I'll share that with the chief. So far, things look favorable, just preliminary. No surprises. It looks to be pretty standard soils and conditions, but I'm still waiting on a final report. But you've awarded GPD to hire for the soil boring. So that's a first step in the project. Civil engineer, that's going to be Labella. That's all in-house. This job, again, is all Labella. We don't have any consultants. Every specialist is a Labella employee. Moving on, I'm going to be your point person, project manager. Our structural, mechanical, electrical, all of that is Labella. We don't have any other consultants. The other piece is the site survey, which we also hired GPD to do. And that I'm talking with them last week. That should be wrapping up this week. So we'll have a good idea on the site survey results, and we'll have a good file to start from. They've surveyed everything on the property, and we'll have that soon. So that really completes the full team. We have everything between our proposal and contract and the preliminary stuff we've done with survey and geotech. We have everything we need from a team to complete this project, except the contractor. As far as other edits here that legal has made, let's see, I'm moving on to, 1.3, there was some scratch on the building information modeling digital data exhibit. We do that anyway, so he scratched it, but we use 3D on everything. All of this entire project will be 3D Revit, but it was scratched. And in the other piece, 1.13, they've also scratched as a building information modeling digital data exhibit. We're going to have all that anyways as part of this project. Moving on to 2.2 edits. This is really the standard of care for our architects. Usually we'll take we like sticking to the standard of care for architecture and AIA, but this has been scratched with some edits. I've read it, and we are good with it as written. It's a little more stringent than the standard of care for architecture, but we are good with those edits from the legal team. Moving on, let's see, 2.3, just added the owner has the right to relay all communications thus represented without any further inquiry or investigation by owner. That it's really that there's no other owners representative on this project. Let's see, the cost, let's see, 2.5, as far as termination of contract insurance, we're going to carry this all the way through, and the cost of our insurance is part of our basic service fees. As far as commercial liability, we're going to hold a minimum $2 million. I can offer you more. Our standard is a little higher than what you're asking for, so I'm happy to give you our standard between commercial, general liability, automobile liability, all of that. Our standard at LaBella is a little higher, which will give you a little more coverage. But we can certainly meet the minimum requirements for this contract.
What is your standard, Matt?
$5 million minimum.
Definitely.
So,
No question.
right. So might as well take it, right? Moving on, let's see, additional insured. Yes. It's going to be you and anyone else you want to name as far as additional insured for the project. We meet all requirements as far as insurance policy requirements here in the contract. No issue there. All of this will be documented as part of our final contract. We'll give you all of the legal paperwork on all of our insurances and liabilities. That'll be part of the submission. Scope of basic services. This is, instead of going line by line, there was no edits here except 3.17. The architect shall take into account project planning, design, sustainability, operations, and procedure standards of the owner, will not deviate from these standards unless agreed upon, written by the owner. We're fair. We're good with that edit. Moving on to the next page, there were no edits in schematic design, design development, construction document phase. 3.4, there was an edit during the development construction documents. The architect shall assist the owner in the development preparation of bidding procurement information. He just added a small thing, and it probably should have been there in AI anyways, but that's fine. Procurement phase services general. See, the edits are architect shall assist the owner in establishing a list of prospective contractors following the owner's approval of the construction documents. The architect shall assist the owner in obtaining competitive bids. He scratched or negotiated proposals, which we can't do typically in the state format. Confining responsiveness of bids or proposals. He scratched or proposals. It makes sense. And he scratched proposal again as well. These will be hard bids in the procurement stage. Competitive bidding. Procuring the bidding documents and facilitating the distribution of bidding documents to prospective bidders will lead those efforts. We'll also help you publicly advertise this to get multiple bids. Let's see, the other edit, distributing the bidding documents to prospective bidders, requesting a return upon completion of the bidding process, and maintaining a log of distribution and retrieval of deposits, if any, received from and returned to prospective bidders. Correct, we'll have to figure out bonding on this thing with the contractors, but it's not in this part, but they're going to want to hold some insurance there, but we're going to cover the costs of, we'll use a local print company to distribute, any paper copies, but a lot of it will be digitally nowadays. Most of the contractors are getting this stuff digitally, but we're good with that. See, the bidding documents permit submissions upon owner's written authorization. The architect shall, as a basic service, consider the request for substitution. Yes, we will look at that. We're not going to take any edits to that. This project, I don't anticipate a ton of substitutions by the contractors as we work through the design, but we'll look at those. If there's cost savings, obviously we'll look at it. Negotiating proposals, I think we scratched a lot of that section. Construction phase services, no edits, evaluations of the work. He added at the end 3.62.4, the architect's decision on matters relating to the aesthetics effect shall have the approval of the owner. Scratch to be final if consistent with the intent expressed in the construction documents. So obviously we'll work together on the look of the building. 3.6.32, there was an ad, the architect certification payment constitutes a recommendation to owner is not legally binding to owner. That's fine, and legally that covers you as well, adding that from the legal side. Moving on to project completion. Let's see, added receive from the contractor and forward to the owner. For the owner's review and records, written warranties and related documents required by the contract documents and assembled by the contractor. That's typical on a project. He just modified a little bit of language here in the AIA contract, which is a good edit. Supplemental and additional services. Essentially, he's putting here on this chart, what's in basic services and what's add services. So I'll just run through this list quickly. We have programming. We have multiple preliminary designs. We'll have updated drawings weekly as we meet together. We tend to meet weekly, but we'll have progress drawings every time we meet. He wanted measured drawings weekly here in the edit, but no problem there. Site evaluation and planning. Yes, we'll have that in basic services. Civil engineering in basic services, landscape design, we're going to include in basic services, architectural interior designs and basic services, no value analysis, no detailed cost estimate beyond required 6.3. You'll get estimates, per phase by us, but he didn't add anything beyond 6.3. On-site project representation weekly, which means during construction, we'll be here weekly for our meeting with the contractor, with the chief, and we'll be evaluating the progress weekly on site. Conform drawings, documents for construction. We'll have that. So as things evolve or, if there's a small change in the field, we're going to document it along the way. So we're not picking this up at the end. Essentially, that's what that means. As designed record drawings and basic services. So contractor gives us marked up drawings. If you moved a pipe here versus our drawing, we're going to have in our record drawings that pipe is here and not what our original drawing may say. But he marks it up as a red line. That's what a record drawing means, is that whatever the pipe moved 3 feet, that's what you get as a final document at the end. It shows that pipe moved 3 feet. See, as constructed record drawings, we talked about that. Post-occupancy evaluation included, which that means is we're going to do an 11th month walkthrough for you. You get a 1-year warranty on everything from a contractor. So at 11 month, after they've completed, close out their contract, we're going to walk and see how everything's holding up. And, that way, if there's something within that 1-year warranty that's not holding up, and that's beyond special warranties. Many of your products you're going to get have a longer than 1 year. This is 1 year on everything a contractor is going to give you. So post evaluations, 11-month walkthrough. We walk through, we issue a list. Contractor has to correct that because it's all in your 1-year warranty on craftsmanship and everything else. Facility support services, not there. Tenant-related services, not applicable. Architects coordination of the owners, consultants. If you have any, that's we will obviously work with them and include it. No telecommunication data design. We're including pathway. So conduits, locations where every teledata is, every jack for a TV or anything that's going to be on our drawings, but we're not designing the cabling. You're going to help us, your standards, working with whatever your IT standards are and whoever your network provider is. We work with them. We do all the roughing, the final connection, or say if we're running, we should be able to, we haven't got into your teledata yet, but if you got fiber to that building, we'll extend, to all the new devices, but we're not designing, the physical devices. So if there's AV or a TV, we're not going to recommend and say, you get this sharp 57 inch, you tell us, we'll get all the back and rough in, everything covered for it. Commissioning, we are including, that means that any of your, really in this project, it's probably your mechanical system. So we'll have a commissioning agent, he'd come through, which is a third party, essentially, not our engineers, to critique and look at the systems are performing as designed. That's commissioning. That's in basic services. Sustainable project services pursuant to section 4.1.3. Like we talked earlier in this project, we're going to keep materials and things in mind. If we want to look at electric charging for a car, or, some sustainable options, say on solar, what's the capacity or availability to put solar on the roof in the future? We'll look at that. But we're not doing LEED. We're not going to a full US GVC LEED certified project on this. No fast track. We'll do a standard kind of design, multiple bid packages, not highlighted, but we are seeing some cases, and this may not be the right project for it, where it does make sense nowadays to do multiple bid packages. There's some things out there that are extremely long lead. And at that point, we do those early design packages like roofing insulation. And there's some other things that are just outrageous nowadays on how long it takes to get.
Matt?
Yes.
Do you expect that lead time to crunch a little tighter, shorter?
If we bid this next year, yes. I expect that to crunch down a little bit. There's some things in the market right now are just outrageous at any time. But I do expect by next year some of that to settle down a little bit. No historic preservation, furniture, furnishings, and equipment design. We're going to go through everything on the existing building with the chief, document it. Work with the chief on anything else he needs as far as furniture, fixtures, things like that. We'll space plan for it. We'll get the power for it. We'll right size it. But we're not going to select the things. That's where we'll need your help, right? We're not going to, so furniture. I probably will space plan, work on all the furniture and layouts for every space. But we weren't doing a competitive furniture package where I say, here's my basis of design is this desk, and we're going to oversee a bid package on 3 different manufacturers. So we don't have that in our basic services, but all the planning we do. Moving on, let's see, other edits, additional architects services. I'm in 4.2. We scratched 3, which we were good with. 4.22, you also scratched evaluating extensive number of claims as initial decision maker, or which we are okay with. 4.2.3, 2 reviews of shop drawings, that's fine. Weekly site visits we talked about. See these other edits he made we were okay with. Owner's responsibility pretty much kept the same. He added a word in 5.4 and they scratched 5.7, which were okay. That's really the sustainable objective article. We talked a little bit about that. Moving on. These other edits we're good with. Within 15 days of the receipt of written request, the architect owner shall furnish the requested information as necessary or relevant. You scratch that, that's okay. Cost of work, he added a scratch here, which is fine. Parent estimates, we're good with those edits. Budget, he just got rid of the negotiation side, which makes sense. 6.7. We are good with. Copyrights and licenses, pretty standard. He scratched a 7.3.1, which we're okay with. Claims and disputes, we're good with his edits here. I get it. It does protect you better than an AI contract on the pieces here. Essentially, it's scratching, arbitration, mediation, or if that doesn't work out, goes to litigation, which is fine by us. Termination or suspension. Few scratches here, but we are good with them. Protects you even a little further, but we are good with those. Miscellaneous provisions. We're good with his edits there. The back end here on the, and this is where it gets more into the legal terms here, but this is giving you a lot of protection, which we're good with. I'm not making any recommended changes here. Compensation we can look at, but we looked at a 7.5% based on construction costs. That, I guess, is the only piece that I think maybe we need to negotiate. It's, that's what I'm here for, is that, we included in this a proposal of our services, of all of it, but essentially it's based on 7.5% of construction costs. That's a piece that, I'm happy to work with you guys on, but it's a full service proposal is what we're offering, full services of the engineers. The couple edits on the percentages here, as far as the breakup, he had 10% on schematic design. We had 20 because it's includes programming, conceptual, planning, and schematic. And then we tweaked it. So at the end of the day, all the percentages are pretty close to where he had it. He just had 10%, and schematic's a big phase. So we were just asking there, I guess that's an edit, that we be reimbursed 20% versus 10%, which is pretty standard in the industry, 20% on schematic design. So that's one you may have to go back to him on. Compensation, we were good with. We're holding a $2,000 reimbursable. This is an allowance, so everything's going to have backup to it, a receipt on anything on the reimbursable. But we're good with $2,000 as far as reimbursables. Architect's insurance we talked about, but he stretched something up there at the end. Progress payments we're good with, 30 days, and it's really just after the work and you approve that, that phase or that deliverable and what we're billing. Once, chief and others have approved it, that's when we'll bill. We're good with that. And then he added a big section here, 11.10.2.4, which we were good with. Special terms and conditions, he just scratched the building information modeling and digital data exhibit, but we're kind of doing it anyways because that's how we work. So the only thing really that's changed from the legal team is asking for 20% in schematic versus 10%. The rest of this, we're taking it as is per your legal team's recommended edits. And what we've also included is a more detailed, essentially this will be an exhibit to the contract that, if there's edits from your legal team or you, we're happy to look at that together, including the percent fee. So I think that's where, I'm happy to work with you there.
We also had some discussion on the percentage base that he presented of 7.5%. Is that correct?
Yep.
I don't have my documentation from when you first came in, so I can't remember what we talked about initially.
I think Miss Catherine would ask. I would say around 7%.
Yeah, I think you're pretty spot on in factoring in the inflation that's occurred. I mean, everything that's incurred since that time. I'm sure you're impacted by that also in a number of ways.
Yeah.
But I think that's pretty spot on to what you've answered my question.
So are we as a board okay with 7.5%?
I have just a couple questions.
Go ahead, please.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry on that.
No, but answering the questions might be important because I've got one.
No, go ahead.
Right.
My questions aren't related to your.
The floor is yours, Melissa.
Well, that's what I just asked. So are we comfortable as a board with the 7.5%?
I don't know if I'm comfortable with the board 1.7 million, to be honest with you. That's I expected an inflationary factor, but that jumped a lot more than what we had initially.
That's what I always figured it was.
So obviously our fee would go down, right?
I never doubted that.
We had groups say it needs to be 1.3, right? Our fees are going to be based on 1.3 construction costs, 7.5%, right? So our fees are really going to be tied to working with you in the budget.
Right.
Right. So, that's really the piece of our contract is we're essentially taking a percent-based approach to this. Mm-hmm. If, the town feels here's a budget, that's what we'll work towards, and that's what our fee will be based on.
Because ultimately, the costs are not dependent on the architectural fees. The costs are what Matt's estimating here, what they're dependent on is what contractors are going to bid it at.
Right.
Correct.
And it could be, a lot of it depends on when you bid it out and possibly what modifications you might make or the cost of goods at the time you decide to bid it out.
Correct.
Same exact thing happened with the fire station. The best guess, right?
How many man hours do you anticipate your architectural firm putting into this project?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Man hours. Do you have an idea how many man hours you guys will be anticipating?
I don't have it with me, but we did calculate it because we did look at the hours. So I can give you guys a full breakdown, or the chief a detail breakdown. We looked at hours for every discipline. So we did look at it, and I could provide that. I mean, I'm happy to run an open book and show you everything.
That'd be great.
He's going to be here weekly.
Yeah, I'll be here weekly.
And I think that the 3D schematics that you will offer helps with that budgetary issue, keeping us on track and seeing where we could potentially cut costs along the way, which was one of the reasons why I was drawn to your firm. Do you have anything to add?
Well, I mean, there was a lot of reasons we were initially drawn to Labella, and I think having everything in-house just makes things much simpler and avoids any issues moving forward contractually, because we're not dealing with as many subs as we would be with another firm. But certainly the 1.74 was not what I was expecting to hear this evening. That's a staggering dollar amount.
Even conservatively, 1.3 is a staggering dollar amount because it's substantially higher than what we had heard also. And again, where's that money coming from? Are we premature in moving forward with the market being the way it is? And where's the money coming from? We'll tap the complete police budget right now. I don't think there'll be anything left after that, if there's even enough to run that at 1.2, 1.1.
Well, this project isn't going to occur over the course of a year. This is, I mean,
it needs design. I think we determined when to put it out on the street, right? It needs to be strategic.
Exactly. You have to do the initial steps in anticipation of, if it needs to be done, you have to do the initial steps in anticipation of bidding it out, and you plan accordingly.
And we've had long conversation about that too, that there's no urgency to have this done by this time next year.
Which is great.
So it's one step at a time, one piece of the process at a time. And if it doesn't fit our financial position, then we go as we take it to the design phase, and then we strategically wait to move forward. So
we have the ability to reject bids as well. There are a lot of variables that the trustees have moving forward.
Absolutely. I think it's a very cautious move forward. And
it's much higher than I anticipated as well, but
no question.
This is the environment that we're living in right now. Gentlemen?
Well, getting back to your commission structure, the commission structure that he's talking about, 7% and 1.3. Now, being an architect, I don't know what the standard is. And I don't know if any of you know what the standard is for architects. Did you get any feedback from Mr. Richter on that?
No. It varies, I'm sure.
We had some minor discussion during our interview process regarding that.
Right.
And I believe that was in the ballpark during our discussions.
Agreed.
It was.
Well, we don't have to decide today. We just needed to negotiate the terms with you based on the percentages put forth. And this still has to go back to our legal counsel. He wants to look at it again, even after all of the edits that were made. So we certainly have some time to toy with the idea before moving forward so that we can do so diligently.
Man, I greatly appreciate the fact that you reviewed our legal counsel's edits and supported those.
Yeah, no, it protects you. I mean, we understand we're a big enough company that we can take on that extra risk. Yep. So we're good.
And that there was just no question about that. That makes it much easier.
Much easier.
It does. There's some tough edits in here that smaller companies may have a hard time taking on.
Yeah.
We're good with the edits.
Yeah, well, he does a great job for us.
There's
no question
good
about
edits.
that.
They're definitely good edits.
Do you guys have any other questions for Matt?
No, I mean, I just feel that that's a great start to our relationship together, the township and your organization, that you're willing to work with us, given those edits that we provided. Great.
Thank you so much, Matt, for being
Melissa, I do have a couple questions.
Go ahead.
So on your services that are the additional services, and specifically I'm looking at the applications for any variances that might be required, which may be pertinent to this project, and then also change orders. How are those filled out to the client then? Because they're not listed in your, those are additional services, right?
Variances, I mean, since we'll be working with Medina, we will assist you as you identify those early, right?
Okay.
I mean, that's going to be early if we need them or not. You know, we will attend, you know, if we need to submit the variance, we'll attend and lead that discussion.
But that is not part of your...
I will edit this as part of our final.
Okay.
So, you know, any of these edits.
Okay.
Just limited.
I was just curious because they're additional services. That's why.
Typically they are.
They're not part of your basic service plan. And they may come up with this project.
And as far as, you know, design changes, it really fall in the contract. I don't anticipate it. We're, you know, including a full service proposal on this.
Okay.
But it would be worked out with you and negotiated before we proceed on anything.
So normal change orders that occur throughout the project scope are just that's an assumption that those are just occurrences.
Yeah, if you want to, let's add 5,000 more square feet. Okay.
I just was wondering how stringent you were on the change order.
No, we understand the process. Okay. There's going to be
there's a lot.
There's a lot.
Change order.
Yeah. So no, if you end up, you know, let's add 5,000 square feet, and we'll probably ask you for a change order.
Okay, significantly. Thank you.
I think, Martha, that's in 4.2.2.
Yeah, I don't have that contract, so
okay,
I'm just
sorry.
going by
You're going by this.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, it's covered.
I don't have a copy of that.
Okay. Any other questions for Matt?
No, not this time.
Do we have any questions from the audience? Okay. Thank you for being here, Matt.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
We'll be in touch.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I don't know if you're, thank you, Matt. Do the trustees have any other comments on this?
Thank you so much.
Chief,
I appreciate
fiscal
your time,
officer,
and I'll be in
no more
touch.
comments on this subject? I'll
Thank
adjourn the
you.
meeting.
You can adjourn it.
Motion to adjourn at 6:39,
Second.
seconded by Augustine. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion has carried. That meeting is adjourned. Do the trustees need a minute or two to collect themselves for the next meeting?
I'm just going to pass. Chris, would you throw those on the table? Those are the fund status and the payroll.
Please.
If anybody wants to grab one, they went on the table when y'all came in.
We'll begin our meeting here in a minute. I want to make sure I got my notes up that I need.
Sure. How was your class? It was excellent. Good. Very, very good. Good. Probably one of the best conferences. Good. Outside of
Martha,
There was $120 just for me. Yeah, oh, yeah, of course. But it was an excellent review. Sure was.
Okay, so for the annual, you pay the annual fee up front, and is that for the town hall or what's that for?
You can stop by, not eat anything all day, except for a small bag of chips.
I don't have that. It's not clear.
I stopped at McDonald's on my way up.
Yeah, I don't, Chief
Did you
just
come
don't
today?
say.
Were you coming from today?
Yeah, well,
Well,
I
let's
don't know
just look
what-
into it a
Oh,
little.
okay, so you're gonna finish up today?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Do
not.
it every time they
Carpenter at home
find something
swapping
that
out a couple.
Well, I don't even know that
doors
we have a
and
contract.
frames out.
That's my question.
And
Okay.
think ahead and plan ahead
We'll-
for the
we'll
future.
table
So for
it.
instance,
Yeah.
if solar panels
Won't
in
even
the
bring it up.
future, what do we need now during the build? So they're going to be planning during that whole process.
Okay. Trustees ready to start?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Let me get my great paperwork in front of me here. Good evening, everyone. I'd like to call this meeting of the trustees of Hinckley Township, this meeting to order at 6:41 p.m. Can I have a roll call, please?
Kalina,
Here.
Augustine,
Here.
Burns.
Here. Can I ask everybody to stand and salute the flag? Thank you. I pledge
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening. We have a busier crowd than we normally have, more people here than normal. You're always welcome. For the minutes tonight, I'd like to make a motion to the board to approve the trustee meeting minutes for November 2nd, 2021.
Second.
Seconded by Clean. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion carries. Thank you very much. Make sure you sign these before we depart today so we can get them on the record. Jen, is everybody able to hear okay? Can you give me a thumbs up or something or come back with a comment?
Yep, you sound good.
All right. Let us know if anybody's quiet, please, because we were one microphone short, one was dead.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. We're going to turn to the police department now. If you have anything to add to the agenda.
I have nothing.
Nothing. Thank you very much, Chief Settner. Chief Grosenbaugh.
Welcome.
Good evening. Thank you. Request appropriations for $74 for the inside storage of the safety trailer at the Medina County Fairgrounds to Granger Township. The overall cost is split between Granger, Sharon, fire departments. This is our safety trailer. We did this last year to get it out of the weather. So they went ahead and already booked it up because it was booking up fast. So they sent over the invoice. So I'd like to have the board pay for that.
Is this the same fee as last year?
I don't remember. I think so.
Okay.
I don't think it is. I think it's different.
It's a reoccurring expense.
This is the second year we've ever done that.
I think it's probably appropriate because it is a shared cost. With
Yeah, it is. It wears and tear. Yeah. Yep. In previous years, we tried storing it in our bays. They've tried doing service garages throughout, and it's so hard. And for this little bit of price.
$74.
Yeah, exactly. Department. Yeah, exactly.
So moved.
Moved by Augustine. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Kalina. Any further discussion? Trustees? Chief? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
It's nice that we share on.
Motion.
Yeah, it was awarded on a grant. I forget how many years ago. Next year, we are looking all three departments. We got some quotes to kind of do upkeep, and again, it's heavily used when outside of the pandemic time. Right. It's heavily used, so we got to do some upkeep. There's some rotting parts on the floor and stuff that you would do with a worn trailer, but well-used trailer.
Thank you.
Next is request appropriations not to exceed $2,000 from Fire Safety Services. We're going to be purchasing an axe, a Halligan, pry bar, nozzles. This is going to go outfit our backup engine, so it's completely capable and ready to go as a full backup engine.
You can do those too.
And okay, thank you. And the next is, and that's with shipping. We did a little extra money to cover shipping. And then on top of that, request appropriations not to exceed $350 for a set of turnout gear, boots for firefighter paramedic Kurt Higginbotham through fire safety. So total not to exceed $2,350 through fire safety services.
So moved.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. Thank you.
The next we're going to not discuss today. Trustee Augustine had a resident email about saying something about the copy we were looking at, which was an older out-to-date or getting close to be out-to-date printer. So we're going to reach out to the company and discuss getting a one that's not outdated. So we will be looking at that at another date.
Very grateful for that, resident.
There's another motion to amend turnout gear boots.
Oh, I'm so sorry, Martha. I missed that. I'm sorry. Okay. Request to amend the motions for turnout gear boots for firefighter Bonnet and Rick Moskalski from $620 to $639 through fire safety services. It was a shipping as usual.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Motion carries.
So the next item is the 313. It's the old engine that we were originally not going to sell last year, but we were going to try and use for the grant. At this point in time, we determined we need to try listing it on GovDeals because there may be some advantage with the shortage of vehicles. We just got out of the AFG grant, so any departments that did not get the money they needed right away, they may be looking to buy a fire apparatus. I've done a lot of research over the last 2 years on this. These things can range from literally $3,000 to $350,000 based on condition, name on apparatus. Like, it is crazy on it. And a lot of the stuff that I found, the low end is through GovDeals. The higher end is through fire engine brokers, and I never see if they sell. They're just always there. So we're going to start off at $15,000. And if it doesn't sell, we'll see, maybe we'll see some, bidding or some comments or something like that, and we'll reevaluate it. We do have dates, Martha and I have I have that. I'll read it here. So I'd like to request to list engine 31.3. Originally it was 31.2 on Gov Deals with a reserve price of $15,000. 31.3 is a 2000 International 400 Series 4x4 pumper. Its VIN number is 1HTSEADR9YH257683. And I'd like to start the auction tomorrow and end it in 2 weeks. That's the typical what they normally do. So on the 17th through the 30th of November this year.
You want to make that a resolution, Melissa?
So moved.
Okay.
So moved as a resolution?
So moved as a
second.
resolution. Do I have to repeat all of that?
No.
Sorry about that. It's
No,
written
that's
right
great.
there.
So it's going to close on the 30th.
30th, yes, that's the intention.
And then how's that coincide? So does that coincide with a trustee meeting?
Shortly
or-
thereafter.
Shortly thereafter, yes.
Okay.
December 7th,
Yeah.
That's a
Pearl
week.
Harbor Day.
Would there be any harm, before this motion, I want to continue this conversation, would there be harm letting it go another 4 or 5 days? Because
My understanding is when we listed those radios, they do it on a cycle like this of 2 weeks, 1 month.
okay.
And they said we did the radios for a month. They said they typically don't even do months. They usually do it by the weeks.
Yeah, I was just wondering, we're not meeting for another week after you close
Yeah,
this.
and you can't
And-
really close it. You can't
Unless we have a special meeting.
close it
Yeah.
until, I mean, you can't accept the bid until the trustees formally do it. To Jim's point, it might make sense to close it out the day
If he can carry the extra week on that.
Yeah, that's the one thing I don't know if it'll be. Well, we'll try. Let me.
Which would be a start date of the 23rd.
Well, you can start it on the.
No, we'll try. I'll try and do. We'll do it on the 17th and list it. I'll see if they can do it on the 7th
Okay.
or see if we can end on the
Day
6th.
before,
Yeah.
and then you'll be able to
Yeah.
bring it to the trustees. If you get a good
Yeah.
price, they can immediately make a resolution.
So amend that to.
We make
To
it a
the-
$200,000 buyer, so.
Yeah. I don't think on that truck.
Well, the worth is only estimated at 8,000.
Yeah, we've had one of the other repair companies looked at it. It was like, it's not special. It's underpowered. It does not have a lot of features, I should say.
It's sad because it still runs.
I know, and it's got 11,000 miles and 1,700 hours. But
I know. It is what it is. So do we need to make the resolution amended to accommodate potentially an extra week, Martha?
Well, I think it has been amended.
Okay.
okay,
You guys are all in
Amended.
agreement. It will
Mr.
run. from
Seconded.
Seconded as amended by Kalina. May I have a roll call, please?
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes. Good luck with that, Chief.
thank you. 2 things not on. The boot drive for the Hinckley Firemen's Association is the 28th of this month, Sunday, 10 to 2. It'll be out in the center of town. Money goes towards families and the senior citizen programs that we run with gift bags that we send out to the senior citizens of Hinckley, either through the our residential lockbox program that seniors can sign up, or word of mouth that we find. And then any of that money left over, we also hold for families that may suffer a catastrophe through the year. So there's always reserved to help them on their feet. And then the details are still being finalized, but the Christmas parade through Hinckley with the fire department and Santa Claus will be the 18th of December.
From 10 to 2, roughly.
No, the boot drive's that. I think
okay.
it's going to be a little longer because it'll wrap up. I know we'll have the map and everything coming. It'll wrap up at the elementary school for the ones that we can't make it through their developments. We'll drive through the old elementary school like we did before.
If the weather is foul, I'd like to add a layer of technology to this. We need to track somebody's phone so our community knows where, and I'll be happy to donate this township phone to track.
Okay, I'm open to that. That's a great idea.
I know where this machine is and it's going to be here in 5 minutes. Let's go outside, kids.
All right, we will definitely, I'll work with you and Jen on that one because that's an awesome idea. Santa Claus tracker.
Doable. All right.
That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you, Chief. All right, Mr. Bahar, you have the floor.
How's everybody doing tonight?
Very good.
How are you?
Very good.
Chief. Thank you. He's quiet.
I know.
Oh, you know what? I'm sorry, really quick. Does anybody else have any other questions for the fire chief? So we can let him go tonight.
Before he goes, let me jump to an item then, if you don't mind, because you may want to have some input on this. The governor signed legislation recently allowing fireworks in the state of Ohio.
Yes.
And it's allowed on specific holidays.
Yes.
And the townships do have the right to override or amend those rules.
Correct.
Do you have any comments to the public on this?
I spoke with Assistant Chief Gerbasi, who is our fire inspector. We are currently trying to look and see what's kind of other townships are looking to do. So we're not rewriting it. We will have comments on it once we get a little bit better educated on it because it's so new.
Yeah,
but
well, it's not really. It's just being legalized.
Yeah, exactly. Yes, we all know they're around all the time. But we are looking at it. Yes, it was looking to try and figure out what we can do.
That's fine. Yeah, that's fine. That's
very good. Yeah.
One of the things is for the public is if it's going on until 1 a.m., I'm sure our police department's going to be knocking on your door.
There would be restrictions, but right now I have no comment on it because I don't have all the information.
The township does have a right to add to this legislation to create those restrictions if it's necessary. So good behavior will be rewarded. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. Anybody have anything else? Thank you guys very much. Have a good night.
You too.
Mr. Bahari, sorry about that.
You're all right.
What you need?
First thing I have on the list is the ODOT grant
It's on.
application that we applied for. It is complete. This is for the section of Bellis Road between Stony Hill and 94. We asked approximately 50% of total project cost, approximately. You never know what the bids come back in at, but
right.
I thought asking for 50% is like a goodwill gesture that the township is also willing to pay for some of this so that ODOT, may look our way a little bit more. So, it's a small grant, a lot of townships. I think it was a total of 8 million. So a lot of townships going for it. Hopefully they look our way. Hopefully we score pretty good. So, but it is complete and we are in the running. So when I hear something, I'll give an update on it.
Okay, so the trustees do need to make a resolution if there's going to be, so you've submitted it already?
Mm-hmm. It is submitted.
Okay, the trustees need to make a resolution to appropriate the 50%. So out of the total project. So how much was the amount of the whole request?
We request 100,000.
Okay, 100,000. So you guys need to adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of the $100,000 ODOT grant, of which $50,000 with a $50,000 match by the township.
Is that correct?
$100,000.
Yeah.
The total project cost was
it's
like
twice
202.
Okay, that's what I asked you.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Total
Yeah.
project
Just-
cost,
Yes,
but-
we asked for 100,000 is what we asked for.
Okay, but the total project cost is 200,000.
202.
202. And are we contributing 50% or $100,000?
We are contribute if we get, depends on what ODOT grant.
No, what did you request on your paperwork?
Oh, 100,000.
Even 100,000 even.
100,000.
Okay.
Okay,
That's
so
what I
it's a
remember us
little
talking
less
about.
than 50% of, okay. So,
It's just shy of it.
okay, that's all right, of which the townships match.
This is a grind and repair.
We don't need all that.
Well, I'm just telling them, you're filling
Oh,
the
I'm
paperwork
sorry.
there. I'm telling you.
I'm sorry, I thought you were saying
No.
motion.
Just for the people to know. So you're writing paper.
All right, so the trustees need to authorize the submission of a $202,000 ODAC grant for Bellis Road,
Mhm.
of which the township match, if accepted, will be $100,000 of the project cost.
So moved.
Second?
Seconded. I don't add one to that. This is the west leg
Mhm.
of Bellis Road. Thank you.
Okay,
Seconded. Any further discussion?
No,
Thank you for your
I was let
work
the
on
public know this is a meeting that Trustee Burns and I attended with the county engineer's office, and very excited that you were able to get that together on behalf of the township, because at least we're in the running for it.
Mhm.
good job, Mike.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank Mikey did a great job on that. Yes,
Very
definitely.
well done.
And it's tedious. It's very tedious, as he will attest. Okay, so that's been moved and seconded, and so we just need a roll call, please.
Kalina,
Yes.
Augustine,
Yes.
Burns.
Yes.
Second that I have on my list is employee search for service department update. I have only received 8 applications total up at my office. I would like to extend that out and see if we can get more.
We haven't had a good candidate yet. One that says, "Oh, well, let's bring him in for an interview even." So we're still waiting.
So I would like to extend it out and see what we can get, give some people some more time. I'd rather not rush through it. I'd rather try to find someone that's going to be a good fit and someone that's qualified. So give some people some more time that are out there.
Trustees in agreement?
Yep.
We're in
Absolutely.
agreement. We'll let the Indeed run a little bit.
So you need to amend your motion from last meeting.
Yeah, so I'd like to make amend the which from the minutes.
Yep, it should be right in the minutes.
Yeah, I think it was the day before today that we closed is the
The
15th.
15.
Yeah. So I'd like to make a motion to amend the minutes. Did you find it yet? I mean, you're passing me. You haven't read it yet.
Here you go.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion to amend the minutes where we opened the application up for the service department worker, which was to terminate on November 15th, to let it go until December 7th? Day off? Okay. Yeah, sure. December 7th. Seconded? Seconded by Augustine. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, that motion carries. Mike, if we need to edit that, Indeed submission, let me know. I mean, we can get in there.
Okay.
We did have a lot of applicants that just said apply. They didn't follow any of the instructions, and it's just too easy on Indeed just to click the apply button and there's no follow-up.
It'd be nice if they'd read the whole thing. So,
or any of it. All right, thank you very much. What else, sir?
Do you think it would benefit us to add that somewhere in print, that just to see if we can capture more people?
we could. It doesn't hurt.
Newspaper? I'm not prepared to make a motion to add that to the newspaper.
Well, we'll see where Indeed takes us.
That's fine.
We'll go from there.
Yeah, that's
And I think you have some feelers out in the community as well. We can get it on the marquee as well. We'll get something on the marquee.
Okay.
For a few
Is it on
days.
the website?
Yeah, it is on the website.
Okay.
All right.
Very good.
And last, anything else?
Last on my list is discussion regarding the road specifications for future developments. Did you guys get the email that I had sent out to everybody?
Yes.
This is something that we've kind of been looking at. You know, these new developments, they're not a very wide section of road. Me and my guys were talking, you know, we've even noticed some other issues that we're having with some cracking and settling issues. You know, those prints that I sent you are all cement stabilized. We are not doing that right now. When we go to do replacements, we are doing cement stabilization. So this is the discussion to take a look at, you know, maybe changing future things for these developments. You know, curb and gutter is a big thing. It keeps pretty much any of the work that we have to do generally within the road. Not so much in people's yard with all the drainage and how it's sloped on the ones that we're doing now. Another big one is it keeps a lot of the salt on the road, and it keeps people on the road with the curb and gutter. You know, and we go out and we fix all that. When people drive in people's yards, we go out and fix the damage because people call us. So it's just some ideas I wanted to bounce off you, see what everybody thought, see if you guys looked at any of the drawings. You know, just wanted to put it out there for a feeler and see what everybody's thinking about that.
So if you've driven in the two newer subdivisions, Pine Valley and the trails at Redwood Falls, the roads are narrow. It's almost like driving down a driveway.
Right.
And for that reason alone, very hard for a plow truck to make it down without staying somewhere. Either they're in the grass or they're in the other lane with their plow blades. And that's one of the reasons they're investigating this. In other words, long-term stability, long-term viability of these roads that we're putting in for our new subdivisions. Mike and his team have looked at two different variations of this. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I think we need to talk about as trustees, and this may carry into next year, but we need to get something moving because we have Kabbalah Farms, which is working off of that narrow driveway design, which we can still interrupt because Medina County Planning accepted the submission with amendment. Mm-hmm. And that's the amendment they're waiting for. What we decide as trustees to put in there. So it can be a standard development like we're up on top of the hill in Wakefield Run, Or it could be like in the Brookside Estates where you have that 6-inch curb, concrete all the way across. I think it's 24 feet wide from the very edge of a curb to the very edge of a curb.
Right.
And that's where we're going with this. I can see the advantages of it. So.
Absolutely. I support it.
My initial gut reaction was I visually, I'm not a fan. I think that I'm not a fan of the curbs. I just don't like the look of them. I think it looks, I guess, city more, and I like our roads. I think they have a little bit more of a rural feel to them.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of our subdivision has, I put it in too. I've got gravel. Everybody keeps up their edge of the road, basically. And so in those areas, I like that look. However, after reading your comments and your justification for it and all the pros that you mentioned, you were drawing me towards that, I guess, from the rational standpoint, that it just made more sense to have that way from a financial perspective for the long-term maintenance of the roads, keeping the salt on the road, safety, those reasons, as opposed to the more aesthetic view. I'm just not a fan of curves, I guess. So
I completely agree with you, but Mike's points are advantageous to the curve. We can't see any reason not to utilize them.
This was just to open it for discussion and see what you guys felt. I know, like me preferably, I like having islands. As a maintenance standpoint, it's way easier on us. And when you go to replace stuff, it's a lot less surface area to also replace. You can also hide snow in the islands instead of people's front yards. People get pretty mad when you push a boatload of snow in their front yard. They do not get happy. So
right. I like islands too.
I'm a big fan of those.
Properly designed, I think they can work.
But we don't. We've eliminated them in our.
I know
it is eliminated in a resolution, but that's in the thing that we need to discuss. Saying, do we want to reconsider this?
Every time we've talked about it, I like the islands.
The islands
right through Wakefield.
Nice.
The houses disappear on the cul-de-sacs. You can't see through those islands, and all the pine trees that are 25 foot tall.
The cross-sectional designs that the Medina County Engineering gave us have islands drawn on, even the Cabela Farms does. And if you put in a perimeter drain, 4-inch perimeter drain, below concrete grade, and get that tied into your storm sewers, they should drain off. The biggest problem is when they don't drain off, they become a puddle for water and freeze thaw, breaks everything apart. So properly designed, soil stabilized base, good drainage, we should be able to make an island work. This is in the resolution. So the resolution is going to be, if we do decide to change it, what do we want to change it to? Currently, they're going to look like what you see at Pine Valley and at Trails, or we put the islands back in on this.
I'm not opposed to islands. My concern is the size of the island. And this is something that Mike and I talked about today. If we're going to incorporate islands, we need to make sure that buses and safety vehicles can get around them. And some of the islands are too small, or the cul-de-sacs are too small to support both the island and the ability to maneuver those.
We do have a few like that in our community. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's got to be some standards coming from the engineers department.
I don't think so.
Diameter. I mean, we just finished 4th. It's a big cul-de-sac. Mm-hmm. It could easily handle an island. Not a big one, but a small one.
Have.
Not that we'd want to. It's a black-topped surface.
But it's different.
It turned out very well, though.
Do you think we should be bringing this up at the next meeting to make a change to the resolution? Give the trustee some time now that you've had a chance to digest what he sent you and know where he's coming from? All right.
But I also think you got to keep your options open too and look at some of the other drawings also.
Have you had access? You should have had a drop-down menu access.
Yes.
Yeah. Feel free to call him or even Medina County engineers if you have other questions about the cross sections, those drawings. I had a picture of one of them up there. It's a little bit like the Wakefield Run. The Wakefield Run cross section. Yeah. One that was up there.
I'll just point out, because it's to me a staggering example. So there's a township in Medina County that, it hasn't been 20 years. It's been probably close to that has not allowed any islands to go in. And so if you drive down Court Street, when it becomes Pearl Road, you can tell right when you change jurisdictions, because ODOT installed the islands, which the city of Medina allowed, but the neighboring community did not allow them. And I think that looks, it looks really good in the city of Medina.
Yeah.
And Montville was begging to put them in when they redo 18, which is coming up. I mean, that project's going on right now, and they just couldn't come to an agreement between the two communities on who was going to maintain those islands. And even I think Montville even offered to take it over, but they still didn't come to an agreement. But they really do. I mean, drive down Pearl Road, it looks. City of Medina looks great.
Yeah.
With that.
And it's one of my kids' favorite places.
At least that's my opinion. I think it looks good.
Growing up, they always climbed the trees in the island in the cul-de-sac.
All right. Anything else, Mr. Bahari?
The only other one I had was, like I said, I would keep your options open. One of the ones that I know me and the guys were talking about, I know a lot of people don't like asphalt, but looking at asphalt with concrete curb and gutter. We have to look at the replacement cost. That's a big thing. We're doing a hot mix mill and fill pave for $200,000 per mile. Where concrete, you're doing $300 a linear foot, which if you did a mile of concrete, that's $1.5 million. So you could replace that, 5 times. It's just like I said, it's to keep your options open. It's just to look at other things maintenance wise.
Yeah, I guess my question is the longevity of that. So if I look to Sharon Township, so Sharon Township's been motor paved for decades, and that's primarily because Ray Lertz was there. That was kind of his background. And I mean, Sharon Township is known for having great roads. I think anybody in the county that travels those would recognize that. So there's subdivision, Creekside Estates went in 2004. They put that subdivision in. By 12, they repaved it.
Yeah.
So with our concrete roads that we require, and what is that? I guess we'd have to average that out to say, yes,
concrete
point, but how long is the concrete lasting us before it needs to be repaired as opposed to the
concrete rule of thumb, you should be 50 years.
Right.
Asphalt, rule of thumb, it just depends. Yeah. Vista, look how long that lasted before we paved it. 20 plus years.
Well,
so
some of it is the amount of traffic on
it is. That's a lot of it.
Yeah.
A lot of the concrete failures we're seeing in our community too are because of a bad preparation.
It is
pouring. So
it is. But I'm just saying the overall general
increase the requirements. So we've increased the depth of the roads that we're requiring in the township, which hopefully should give us some greater longevity of those roads.
You got to get that soil stabilization. That's the big one. You got to keep that soil from moving. Otherwise, pads, it doesn't matter how thick they are, they're going to move. It's just, and all I was bringing up with asphalt ones is it's a lot easier for us to maintain those. We can fix those. It's easier for us to work on the concrete curb and gutter. It's a small section for us to pour, or we can keep and do most of that work ourselves. Like I said, I could pave that asphalt road, mill and fill it probably 5-6 times and still be under what it would cost to replace that whole concrete section. So it's just money game. That's all I was. Maintenance factors. So
some of the examples that we have to look at from the engineers does have soil stabilization called out in it. So look for that on the title. I think that's something we should be requesting for any future developments, and we should do what we can to get Kabbalah Farms on the track that we want to go. So I'd suggest strongly we have a resolution for the next meeting if you guys can get comfortable with what we want to do.
So you guys are talking with Medina County engineers regarding these changes?
I was looking up all the subdivision standard drawings on their website and just...
But I mean, have you spoken with the Medina? Have you talked to Andy or Dan about your proposed changes?
No, my contact now is Angie. Like, she's my only point of contact. Okay. I was told
because some of these modifications that were done to the subdivision standards were because of our topography. That's one of the reasons we changed from the soil stabilization. It was not holding up for us at all, and the increased depth. So I would certainly, I'm sure they're happy to come in and maybe their thoughts have changed over that time, but their input was really, really beneficial in making the changes that we did make. And because we found that even in newer developments, something about our topography, the just wasn't jiving with the soil stabilization or how it was done.
Like Wakefield Road.
Yes, and so that's why we went to the deeper depth and the modifications we made. So I'm not saying that it's not applicable. I'm just saying that they should certainly be part of this research, I guess.
Let's see if we can wrap it up in a 2-week time frame. 2.5 weeks.
You guys all have the link. I mean, look at the different drawings they have and see what you think. That's all this was, is to bring information to your attention from our standpoint.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's all I have.
Thank you very much. Mr. Klein, anything from the zoning department?
Yeah, we have some late additions to the agenda, and this is a lot split. And Tom did sign off on this, so we can move forward with this. And Trustee Burns, I know you've been working with the Kopchak family regarding discussions with their property and potential for future donation on this property. This is the 2-acre lot that there was a for sale sign that was up there, and that may have sold, I don't know. But regardless of that, there was a 2-acre parcel, and they're adding parcels at the rear of the lot's 175 foot, and they're adding additional 30 feet onto that. So that'll make the lot 2.131 acres. It's a legal lot, so they're just making it a little larger.
Yeah, so they would like us to sign that, and they will get a copy, or they will get the original tomorrow to take for recorders and everything else. Okay.
It's the only one we have.
That's fine. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. And thank you for continuing to work with them.
It will be many months. It will be many months before they are in a position to move forward with donation to the township, because he hasn't even gotten the conservation language with, he's not using Western Reserve, he's using West Creek.
Yes.
He's not got that far ahead yet.
Okay.
He's working on it though.
Yeah.
And that's it for that part of the agenda under zoning.
Very good. Thank you. All right, so we'll move on to cemeteries then. I'm gonna put this in here. Oh, you know what? I need to get a copy of that. I'll keep it with me. Thank you. All right, so we're gonna move on to cemeteries. We have 4 deeds to sign tonight.
We will need witnesses, 2 witnesses,
Yes, we will.
please.
Any 2 witnesses like to come up and witness these signatures? One is from Mr. Kendall, William Kendall. He is looking for 1 lot, and Mr. John Herman is looking for 3 lots. Anybody want to step up to be a witness? Doesn't matter who, just anyone in the audience. Thank you.
Get used to signing
You
stuff.
look so happy. I'm so happy to be here.
Expensive day here, huh?
What are the names on those deeds, Jim?
Mr. William Kendall is taking 1 lot, and Mr. John Herman is taking 3 lots.
Okay.
And they're paid for. Okay. You guys are going to have to wait, sorry. Well, that's mine.
Yeah, that's yours.
You know what, Jim? Yeah, you go and sit down. We'll call you up in a few seconds, as long as you're witnessing. Or you be patient. Pass it off to Mr. Sweattick, Mr. Borowski.
You ready to go?
Chris. Thank you. All right. Yeah, that's fine. I'm sorry. The selling of these other 2 lots, other topic of these resolutions for selling lots, or just a motion? Remember last meeting we talked about Semitis.
Resolution.
Okay, resolution.
Yeah, yep.
Sign the cemetery deed.
Like I'm doing my taxes.
You can go home and tell your family how exciting this was.
Yeah, and there's no chair for you or anything. You're on your knees signing. Poor guy.
That's immortalized, by the way, in the archives here in Hinckley Township.
Thank you, James. Next up in the cemeteries, we talked 2 weeks ago about two people wanting to buy lots, and we discussed who they were, Mr. Zamitis and Mr. Batke. I think we came to the conclusion that we will sell them the lots. So I'd like to make a motion to the board to for a resolution to sell Mr. Zamitis 4 additional lots for a total cost of $1,600. The deed preparation will be made on our signature and his payment. Seconded. Any further discussion on this resolution from Mr. Zamitis?
No.
Did you add in your resolution, he's a non-resident?
He is a non-resident.
Okay. Second as amended.
Thank you. Seconded as amended. Any further discussion?
No.
Have a roll call when you're ready, Ms. Catherwood.
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes. Second, I'd like to make a motion to the board for resolution to sell Mr. Batke 1 lot for $400.
Also a non-resident.
No, he actually is a resident. He's got property here. Both.
So we determined that's 1 lot, not one.
You don't need to
lot.
make a resolution if he's a resident.
Okay, that's fine.
You
Then.
don't have to do anything if he's a resident.
I think, we were just.
How about for the record, we just do it?
We didn't know if he was buying a lot or a plot.
A lot or.
Well, remember, it was,
Oh, that
he
doesn't
was.
have anything to do with it.
We don't need a motion.
Is he a resident?
I think he is. Yeah.
You think he is?
I thought there was more. Okay.
We need to
Let me
know
call.
that
Let me
little
call.
fact.
Let me phone a friend.
All about who you know.
He's a resident.
Okay. So
We don't need to do
a
anything with that
motion
one?
for
Well, I don't know. Is he a resident?
Yes.
Let me phone a friend.
I believe we've determined
God.
he is a resident.
We determined he is a
Suzanne.
resident.
Suzanne. I think he is.
Okay. If
Thank you.
he's a resident, he can buy a plot, a lot.
Well, that's what we needed to
I
clarify.
don't care.
So
We don't need a resolution.
What we needed was clarification on what he's buying. He said he wanted a plot, not realizing that a plot is 4 lots. He only wants 1
Well,
lot.
then that's not your business.
Well, it is, but okay.
That's I mean,
So we're
that's,
selling- yes, he's
One-
purchasing
one lot.
you don't need a resolution or determination by the board. You pay Suzanne for what
Okay.
unit he's selling, right? Because we don't sell plots, do we?
We would sell 4 lots,
Well, then that would be 4 lots.
but that'd be a plot though. That just the confusion that plots and lots creates in the public's eye. It
Yikes.
is.
Is it happy hour?
Not yet.
Not yet.
that.
Darn it. Well, maybe it could.
Mr. Kalina, I'm done with cemeteries.
All right. I have a couple of items.
Indigent burial.
I had it down further in my area, but we can talk
Since
about
we're
it
in
now if you'd like.
cemetery,
It's going to be
Sure.
it's going to be
No,
very
no, we're good. Let's talk about it.
It's going to be very quick. The prosecutor still has the resolution for review and edits, so we are not able to move forward
Oh,
tonight.
okay.
Okay, well, I did review those and I thought they were all solid
Yeah.
recommendations.
Okay. Thank you very much. We'll have to wait another 2 weeks and hopefully we'll have it resolved by then.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Kalina, back to you.
Yes, I have a couple of items to add to the agenda, and the first is I will make a motion to approve the purchase of a deep cleaning at a cost of $150 from Janet King due to coronavirus protocol.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries unanimously.
Thank you. And I'll let you know that I did meet with both boards and we discussed the terms and contacting us regarding interest in appointments. So that has been done and that information has been received. And I'll forward that to Suzanne to compile that. And the only other zoning related matter is the former yoga studio at 1360 Center Road. That is a continuation scheduled for 11/23/21 with the Board of Zoning Appeals.
Thank you very much.
That's a 3rd meeting.
Next one coming up.
Okay. Very good. Thank you.
Ms. Augustine, the floor is now yours.
I have garden club request. I believe I forwarded to the 2 of you for tonight's meeting.
Okay.
We good?
No, Suzanne just texted me that Jim has an email from the gentleman that
So we may need to-
discussing. He is a prior resident. So he currently is a non-resident. Therefore, you guys do need to make a resolution authorizing him to purchase a lot since he no longer is a resident currently of the township.
So moved.
Second.
I'm not sure that's official. I think you have to make a motion.
I'd like to, you said it perfectly.
Well,
I'd like to make a motion to the board for a resolution.
Maybe he's legally not a resident because he votes somewhere else and he's,
well,
so I understand.
Suzanne said he's a prior resident. I don't know.
Maybe he has well, we were told he has a presence in the township right now.
Oh, here she goes. Wait a minute. Okay, Suzanne says we should table it for now. So why don't we get
some more information?
I don't know. I'm just getting the text.
Why don't we just make a resolution?
I would just make the resolution this evening because
he's waited.
Don't argue with me.
Right.
I'm
okay.
just telling you what the sexton is texting me.
There's no reason to make him wait. And if he is a resident, who cares? I mean, we have.
I know
it's already approved.
We already waited 2 weeks. Let's just make the resolution.
I'd like to make a motion for the resolution to permit Mr. Batke to purchase one lot for $400. Seconded.
As a non-resident.
Doesn't matter. We're making a resolution.
No. Is
as a former resident?
Yeah, the reason you're having to make the motions is because our organizational minutes do not allow the sale of lots to non-residents, but it is allowed with trustee approval. So therefore, if he isn't a non-resident, then you can.
Then it doesn't really matter.
You can change it next time. You can just rescind the motion.
Okay.
And the gentleman can still buy his lot from Suzanne because if he is a resident.
Let's try this one more time. I'd like to make a motion for a resolution for Mr. Batke to purchase one lot from the cemeteries in Hinckley Township for $400 as a non-resident. Seconded. Any further discussion? Have a roll call, please.
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes. Okay. Mr. Kalina, you have finished that topic.
We're on to the garden club.
Yes, we are. Thank you, Melissa.
The garden club does a fantastic job in the center of town, and they have sent us an email saying that not only do they want to continue their work at the Historical Society and here at Town Hall, but they would like to go across the way to Memorial Park. They have some plants that will pollinate that they would like to utilize in the spring, and they wanted permission to move forward with that. Do we have agreement?
I do.
Absolutely.
Very good. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you for them to volunteering their time.
They're fantastic. They also wanted to purchase 2 new planters on both sides of the memorial. There are 2 older planters. They're very short, concrete. I think they're cracked. One's leaning. And so they're looking for a more modern look. We had a cost of $118 roughly.
Yeah, from Home Depot. Yeah. That's a recurring expense, I think. We were replacing broken ones.
Would your guys pick them up from the service department?
Yeah.
Okay.
I've already informed of the make, model, color, and cost. And
if we're all in agreement, we'll go ahead and have the service department
I saw the email, and I'm sure those will look fabulous.
We're good. Thank you.
And lastly, they wanted to let us know that they're going to be taking down the false display after Thanksgiving, and they will be purchasing 4 wreaths for Christmas. And that is another reoccurring expense. But just for the public to know, this group does just a fantastic job of beautifying Hinckley Town Center. So thank you for your support of them. Senior snowplow update. I do not have anyone to facilitate this. I have worked to try to see if we can get someone to facilitate the program. And the bottom line is it's on an as-needed basis. So the seniors would call and say, I need my driveway cleaned right now. And this contractor is supposed to drop everything and go clean the driveway, which has been very difficult. I would like to say that I do greatly appreciate the Greensmith for going out and doing this job for us and our seniors for so many years. We are indebted to them. They have just done a fantastic job and missed out probably on events for their families and holidays where they were plowing seniors' driveways. So special thanks to Greensmith. Zoning Commission discussion. I just wanted to make the public aware. We had a citizen at the last Zoning Commission meeting make a statement that led me and some of the participants in the audience to believe that there may have been discussion and decision behind closed doors, which does not coincide with sunshine laws. I did my due diligence and did a records request as it pertained to that and have found no wrongdoing at this juncture. but I just wanted to let you guys know that I acted as an agent of this board because we would not have been able to approve that act until this evening. So just wanted to see if you had your consensus with that.
Yes, I spoke with both members. The request was made just to clarify what their obligations were with that. And yeah, I don't have any concerns about anything.
Thank you.
With that.
Very good. Yep.
I have a motion to approve the Kimball opt-out list that is right in front of you. We have great numbers this year. In 2020, we denied 123 opt-outs. In 2021, we denied 21 opt-outs. And in 2022, we will only deny 7 opt-outs. So the number is dwindling every year. I attribute that to people becoming accustomed to the Kimball garbage and also new families moving into Hinckley from other cities that have already had established garbage districts and are just used to that process. So at this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt a resolution to approve the 2022 Kimball Hinckley Township opt-out list as prepared.
Seconded. Any further discussion?
No.
Is that a motion?
It's a resolution.
Resolution. Have a roll call, please.
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Thank you for that. And wanted to update everyone. We've been working really diligently with this Kimball trash department that I've had since January. And we've decided internally that we initially, when we first started the contract, we had to establish vacant properties and commercial properties. That has been established. And the citizens that have those properties have been coming in every year and filling out paperwork concurrent to that. We do not want to do that anymore. It's extra paperwork for us internally, and it's the same information. And we're asking our residents to come in and fill out a form that's just not necessary. So we've decided internally to skip that. So we went ahead and sent out the commercial exemption letters, hopefully for the last time. They were just sent, some of them just sent today. So if you have a commercial property, please be looking for that in your mailbox. If there's any change to your vacant or commercial property, please notify the township as well as Kimball so that we can move forward accordingly. Any questions on that?
Nope. Thank you.
Okay, and I'd like to make a motion to accept Christine Medwig's resignation effective December 30th, 2021.
Seconded. Any further discussion?
What if we just turn it down?
I would love to.
Say no.
That's $1 million question, but I think they could just stay no, still leave it. Seconded. Any further discussion?
I didn't threaten her with that, but
She might.
I may have.
She might miss us and come back.
she very well might.
She may. And really the reasoning is that it's many more hours than she had anticipated. And so she's fit in very well and she's made things seamless and streamlined so many things and made for more efficient.
She has
and
been
productive
invaluable this month.
Yes. She was invaluable today.
Yeah.
Yes. So that's my motion on the floor.
Okay, well, we have a second.
Motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion passes. Thank you.
And I have one more thing, actually 2 more things, I'm sorry. I would like to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss administration, police, and zoning, employment, and compensation at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We will go at the end of the meeting.
Yeah.
We can add to that we may or may not come out with any public decision.
Correct. And just for FYI for the public, I met with the 2 new trustees today and as well as Martha. We spent some time with them, taking them around the different buildings in the township and look forward to working with them here in January.
Great.
Yes.
That is all.
Thank you very much. Some of the items on my agenda have already been covered. I'd like to get a motion from a board member to appoint me to start an application process for DC fast charging stations for electric vehicles. There's a $7 million grant in Ohio available for that purpose. It's something we've been talking about. I'm thinking that there's not going to be a whole lot of takers on this, and we might be able to get this very heavily funded if you want to pursue that. Or let me know, we can put the application for full funding if that's what you want to do.
Tell me more.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Well, that's all I can tell you. I haven't started the application process because I need a promotion from the board.
And give me some more information. What is that called so I can make the motion?
It's called it's a grant.
Charging
No,
station?
a DC fast charging station. It's a grant from the state of Ohio EPA, $7 million in funding. Deadline is January 31st, 2021.
What are the obligations of the township?
Don't know that yet.
Yeah, I don't think you guys, would this be for township use or for general public?
There are charging stations where you swipe your credit card and you pay for electricity charged with.
I'm just asking.
No.
Where would it be located? Would it be for township use? I don't know, or just people driving in?
It's for any use we determine. We can make it for strictly the police vehicles that are electric, not yet. Or we can make it for the public with a credit card swipe or a tap, and it's a per kilowatt charge. I think the state of Ohio is trying to clear the way for what's coming, and they're providing a grant to help us get there. I can bring this up at the next meeting with more details. I mean, we've got until January 30th. I'm certainly not going to carry this ball all the way to its end. I won't be here.
Yeah, I don't see any reason not to put you in charge of it and have you start tackling it. Do we need a motion to do that?
I think we do, yeah.
Well, yeah, you can authorize Jim to be the point person for it, but
then he won't be.
Well, no, I'm not saying that. I just mean that you don't, to Chris's point, you don't know if there might be obligations financially imposed on the township once a grant is submitted.
Right.
So maybe the board might want to review
I need an appointment first. I'm not going to pursue this without an appointment. You can appoint me to find out this information about the application. Otherwise, I'm just going to drop it.
I'll make a motion to appoint Trustee Burns as make a motion to appoint Trustee Burns
Can you read it?
No, I can read it. I'm searching for the right word.
As a representative.
As a representative to investigate the DC fast charging station grant offered through the state of Ohio EPA.
Motion, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion's in second. Any further discussion? So by the next meeting, I will try to get the questions answered on what our obligations might be, how much funding they might provide, 100%, 50%, and any other details that might give the board a better decision making.
Well, you have the most experience with these, and so you've done a great job with all the township's grant applications, and you are the right person to look into that, Jim.
Thank you.
We expect you to stay on and follow it through till the end. We just appointed you. We have to vote, obviously.
I'll get my consulting fee. Okay.
We have to vote.
Well, no, it was a motion, so you just...
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I will abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you. Motion carries. Just a real quick update, Koback LED light grant. I submitted final paperwork for that. That's moving forward. I'll get an email or something from them saying we've got what we need or we need some additional information. So that's moving forward and should be completed before the end of the year easily. Gibson property donation update. The prosecutor's office was given permission to speak with Mr. Gibson's attorney. So the prosecutor's office did make a phone call and doing phone tag right now. Their parties are to get together, draft the documents we need to take this transfer, and we go.
Okay.
Maybe by the end of the year, before the end of the year.
I know he's in a hurry to get that done.
Yeah. Now he's changed that a little bit. I think he's found out something where he can actually go into 2022, but let's see if we can work it out for this year.
Okay.
We have an opioid litigation settlement agreement that we need to make a resolution for. So at this time, I'd like to make a resolution for the board to consider accepting the grant as written. And I have a very long resolution to read. Bear with me.
The first thing, I have to advise you the notice requirements of section 121.22 of the revised code and the implementing rules adopted by the board pursuant thereto were complied with for the meeting. Okay, go on. You're good.
Resolution. A resolution to accept the materials, terms, and subdivision settlement pursuant to Ohio Memorandum of Understanding and consistent with the terms of the July 21st, 2021 National Opioid Settlement Agreement. Whereas Hinckley Township is a political subdivision of the state of Ohio, formed and organized pursuant to the Constitution and laws of the state of Ohio. And whereas the people of the state of Ohio and its communities have been harmed by malfeasance, non-feasance, and/or malfeasance, misfeasance committed by certain entities within the opioid pharmaceutical supply chain. And whereas the state of Ohio, through its attorney general and certain local governments, through their elected representatives and council, are separately engaged in litigation seeking to hold opioids pharmaceutical supply chain participants accountable for damages caused by the misfeasance, malfeasance, and non-feasance. And whereas the state of Ohio, through its governor and attorney general and its local governments, share a common desire to abate and alleviate the impacts of that misfeasance, non-feasance, and malfeasance for the state of Ohio. And whereas Hinckley Township approved one Ohio Memorandum of Understanding relating to the allocation and use of the proceeds of any potential settlements described, and whereas a settlement proposal is being presented to the state of Ohio and local governments by distributors Ortho, McNeil Janssen Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, Janssen Pharmaceutica Incorporated, Janssen Pharmaceuticals Incorporated, and Johnson spelled differently, collectively Janssen, pursuant to the settlement agreement dated July 21st, 2021, Janssen settlement. And whereas the Hinckley Township Board of Trustees approves the township's participation in the July 21st, 2021 Janssen settlement, and hereby authorizes the Medina County Prosecutor's Office to execute the attached settlement participation form. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Board of Trustees of Hinckley Township, Medina County, Ohio, that Section 1, Medina County Prosecutor is hereby authorized to indicate Hinckley Township's consent to participate in the July 21st, 2021 Janssen settlement by executing the attached settlement participation form. Section 2, it is hereby found and determined that all formal actions of this board and of any of its committees concerning and relating to the adoption of the resolution were adopted in an open meeting of its board or committees, and that all deliberations of this board and any of its committees that resulted in such formal actions were in meetings open to the public in compliance with law. Section 3, this resolution shall be in full force and effective from and immediately after its adoption. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Augustine. Any further discussion?
I'll just comment on this.
Please do.
I think Trustee Augustine and I attended this meeting with the prosecutor's team, along with the majority of townships in Medina County. There were 16, I believe, out of 17 townships that were able to actually vote at the meeting, but all 17 townships had a representative there. So it was very impressive. I was extremely impressed with what our county prosecutor has done regarding this. Forrest Thompson has done an outstanding job representing Medina County and putting us in a great position for this, quite frankly.
That's what you have to submit. I filled out everything. Just sign it.
Thank you.
So, and continuing to move forward with it. I mean, he's been on top of this. So
He spearheaded it.
Yes.
Yeah, he's just been fantastic.
He has been absolutely fantastic. And I don't think the residents have any idea how he's really driven that, but I was very impressed.
And Ohio is leading this charge against these companies.
Thank you very much. Can I have a roll call, please?
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Trustees, we have a page here. What's the top page?
And you're going to scan this and get this to...
I'll get this over to Heidi Carroll by tomorrow. There was a deadline here. That's why we're moving on this one. I think that ends I have nothing else on my agenda. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Trustee or Fiscal Officer Catherwood.
Okay. You should have a packet with the motions that I
thank you.
require.
Should I just read them?
Go for it.
A motion to adopt resolution 111-62107 to submit a request to amend Township Certificate of Estimated Resources to the Medina County Auditor for the purpose of appropriating CARES Act funds 2272 in the amount of $28.95 upon receipt of the amended Certificate of Estimated Resources, the 2192 Revenue and Appropriations eligible.
You know what? I'm sorry. Amend that to 2272.
Second one, 2272.
Yeah. Thank you.
So we'll go back. Upon receipt of the amended Certificate of Estimated Resources, the 2272 Revenue and Appropriations budget will be amended to reflect grant monies. Do we hear a second?
Second.
Seconded by Colleen. Any further discussion, trustees?
This is just required because these are the remaining funds in that CARES Act, and they all have to be dispersed by the end of the year to get that balance down to zero.
And we spent those tonight.
Yeah, we have $28.95 to spend, so we need to budget it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moved and seconded?
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes, motion carries. Motion to reimburse Hinckley Fire Department Community Benefit Fund $676 for the senior snowplow second submission dated November 3rd, 2021.
Second.
Seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye, that's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. And then finally, a motion to adopt a resolution 1116218, accepting the ARPA federal grants and authorizing fiscal officer to request funding through the grant portal.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's a resolution.
Yeah.
Yep, sorry.
And this is required due to additional language. We've made this motion, but not with this exact verbiage. But the auditors want to see this exact verbiage.
Got it.
In the minutes.
Thank you very much.
Kalina?
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes. That motion carries. Thank you very much. Finally, I'd like to, are you with this one? Want to make this a motion number 4, Martha?
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to make a motion to authorize payment to Amazon Prime in the amount of $175 plus any applicable tax. $79 plus any applicable taxes for annual business Prime membership.
Second.
Motion seconded by Augustine. Any further discussion?
Just want to say that this has saved us a boatload of money in all the departments use Amazon quite often. So with having the free shipping, it saved us above and beyond 10 times the $179 annual fee.
It's worthwhile.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That's unanimous. Motion carries. Last motion, authorizing fiscal officer to request Capital One rewards balance of $192.96 as a cashback receipt, which will be deposited per use percentage in its respective fund.
Second.
Motion is seconded.
So just to explain, our Capital One card obviously has rewards points. Before the end of the year, they'll send us a check for it, and then I'll take the percentage of use for each department, how they've used the credit card, and then I'll deposit the appropriate money in each account.
Very good. Thank you.
Is that the last one?
I got one more. I threw it in there. You don't have, well, you've got that one, but I have another one that I had to add.
Go ahead.
Because of the number of zoning, specifically BZA meetings this year, the amount that we appropriated, which was $8,000 at the beginning of the year, is not going to be sufficient to pay the annual wages of the commission and the BZA. So I'm making request for a resolution adopting the reallocation of $5,000 in funds from 1000760740000, which is general fund machinery, equipment, and furniture, to 1000-130-150-0000, which is compensation of board and commission members.
I'll make that motion.
So moved. Seconded.
Second.
Seconded by Augustine. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you, Martha.
Just on that same topic, though, we've kind of been discussing over the year that there are some things we need to address in fee structure or enforcing certain things in the fee structure, because we don't need to make money, but we do need to make sure we're not losing money, losing taxpayer dollars on these hearings and et cetera. So if an applicant has an application, they should be paying their fair share throughout the entire process. So I request the board and the new board to look at that. Happy to discuss it. I know Suzanne is, and I'm sure you guys can add to that conversation also. And all I need is the purchase order one.
A motion to adopt resolution 111-6219, approving the purchase order listing as follows: blanket certificate 86-2021, purchase order number 94-299-2021 for the amounts and to vendors as submitted.
Second.
Seconded by Augustine. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Oh, we have a resolution.
Kalina?
Got it.
Yes.
Augustine?
Yes.
Burns?
Yes.
Chris, did you second that? I'm
Resolution
sorry,
carries.
was writing
I did.
in August. I'm sorry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Want to pay the bills?
We can pay the bills. I'd like to make a motion to pay the payroll and bills in the amount of $65,753.46.
Second.
Seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye. That motion carries. Should we go back to fund status?
Oh, sure. I'm sorry.
No, you threw me off by jumping. I've always thought we should go in this order, but we're good.
I'm sorry.
No,
Gosh,
we're good.
paper, too much stuff. Currently, the fund status is $6,346,656.62, of which $1,063,883.25 is in pooled investments, and $5,282,773.37 is primary checking.
Thank you very much.
I will be forwarding you guys the drafts and the department heads, the drafts of the temporary appropriations. If you recall, that's just to get us through the first several weeks of the new year before our permanent certificate comes, our first certificate comes in from the auditor's office. So.
Any further comments or questions from the board here? No? Okay, I'd like to open the floor up to the public here in the room. If you have any comments or questions, please approach the podium so that the audience out in TV land can hear you. No takers? This time I'd like to make a motion.
Executive session.
To go into executive. We've already made that. Yeah. So we're at a point now where we're not going to adjourn yet. We're going to go into executive session. Don't know how long we will be. You're welcome to stay if you want. And when we come out, we'll either have a decision to discuss with them in public or not. Okay. Thank you very much.
Very good. Thank you.
Jen, the board's going to go back into the conference room, and we'll be back in a few. You can sign off if you want. Just turn over the host back to me or the meeting. Thank you. And I did mute this room.
time to have.
We have-
And the other issues,
We have,
All right, are we on?
we are, but we have 3 people still online in the audience.
Okay.
And I'd like to reconvene the meeting of the Board of Trustees at,
Well, I'm going to adjourn executive session at 8:38.
thank you. 38.
I have a motion. I made a motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That motion is carried. Thank you. So we're going to reconvene our regular meeting at 8:38.
Awesome.
You don't have to have a motion
Chief,
yet.
did you want to go ahead and move forward?
I can, thank you. Request trustee approval to hire Robert Gabriel as a probationary full-time patrolman effective the first full pay period of 2022 at a starting salary of $24.89 an hour. It's the second step in our pay scale.
So moved.
Moved and seconded.
Second.
Seconded by Kalina. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you. I'll move forward with that. Then the second is a motion, board approval for the pay scale for Jacob Ghetto. He is currently at $22.46 an hour, which is our starting pay rate. As you're aware, he came to us with close to 4 years of experience. Effective February 2nd of 2022, I would like to move him to $24.89 an hour. And then at his 1 year anniversary, move him to the $29.94 rate.
$29.94.
Correct.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Moved and seconded. Any further discussion, trustees?
I guess I'll just note that this will bring him more in alignment with where he was and with other officers on the department.
That is correct. In his time in service and experience, yes.
Absolutely. And Mr. Gabriel has already been with us as a part-time.
Since the first of the year,
And
yes.
so we will be finalizing and filling Mr. Port's position.
That's correct.
Very good.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you for your efforts
Okay, that's perfect.
regarding staffing, Chief.
We'll tackle the rest of the issues in the next couple of weeks.
Moved and seconded.
Thank you.
We need a vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Well, didn't you? No,
Go ahead, Mark.
you did that already. Okay.
No, we didn't.
Obviously, Kalina. Okay.
We waited for comment. All in favor, say aye. Moved and seconded. Unanimously. Thank you.
Okay.
That's all I got.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you. I will
I was gonna say,
Probably
you're-
go.
You're free to go. Thank you.
It's been a long day.
See you, Chief.
Good night.
Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Good night.
Yes.
Executive session, we have stuff to discuss.
Jim, is your microphone off? I can't hear you anymore.
It is on. I actually am talking quieter than normal. My voice
No,
is
it's
starting-
not on.
Oh,
Hit the button.
Green light.
This one is off. I'm sorry. I thought
There we
the
go.
whole mic for the system's here. Thank you for speaking up, Jen. Do that anytime to interrupt. All right. So, Mr. Kalina, you have anything to discuss with the public here regarding our executive session discussions?
Well, actually, this is regarding a phone message that I received during our meeting here. And upon listening to that message, one of our alternate members of our board has elected not to request reappointment. And so I would request the board to advertise for an opening to look for candidates to serve on our zoning boards.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any further
Yeah, so I guess that
discussion?
was a motion, so.
It was.
What is your posting period? And your,
How long are you going to post for? Today is the 16th.
and what board is this, Chris?
I would just leave it open, I guess, because I still have one other person I'm waiting to hear from that I haven't confirmed with, so.
Zoning Commission.
Yes.
Yeah, Zoning Commission is the board.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, and then
For the motion. So a motion to accept interested in the zoning commission alternate position? Is that
Yeah,
what the
just as
motion
we've
is?
done in the past,
When
Okay.
do we want to make the deadline by?
because I think the last time we did this would have been in March.
We did do it in March.
Yes.
Are we going to interview?
And that was probably a 2-week posting period, would
I'm
be my
thinking it was
guess.
about 2 weeks.
That'll give us a chance to interview and then come to a public meeting and announce a selected person.
Yeah.
So do you want to make the deadline the 6th?
That's closer to 3 weeks.
Well, we still have to get it advertised in that, so.
Yeah, you know what? At least the end of December 3rd, at least.
Let's do December 3rd. I like
And then
that.
we work over the weekend, think about it, and then come back in a public meeting and make an announcement.
Well, that's the deadline for applications, and then we'll
Right.
schedule interviews, which will probably be the week of the 6th. And then we can make announcement on the 21st.
It could still happen. Yeah, that's doable.
But that way we at least have people in place. for the
Yeah, I mean,
board
those
in
don't take long to set up the interviews,
Right.
bring people in.
Okay,
So to clean up that motion, the applications we accept until December 3rd?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
So starting now? When are you posting this?
Well,
We could start right now.
Let's say we'll post it the 22nd.
boy, that's,
Let's just start right now. What difference does it make? We're going to put it online. It's going to go on the tomorrow morning on the computer. And
I was gonna post the 22nd at the soonest.
okay. What's your reasoning for that? Just the time?
Just because
Staffing.
of our staffing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, sure. She'll be back by then. We'll be back at full office. Good point. Thank you.
Okay, so we'll post the 22nd and we will complete or end that posting December 3rd.
And interviews to follow.
Correct.
Seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay, that motion carries unanimously.
All right. Thank you for cleaning that up, Trustee Burns.
Yeah, well, thanks for doing the dirty work and putting it out there. What else is out there?
That's it.
Okay. Think we can make a motion to adjourn?